The number one reason students burn out is because of stress. And the number one reason students stress is because they can't catch up. So let's play a little game. I'm going to try my best to describe your situation and let's see how much I get correct. You're feeling behind in school, feeling stuck and burned out. You see people in class doing better than you with half the effort, and it feels unfair. You want to be like them too. And if this video popped up in your recommendations, I'm guessing you watch quite a lot of other study videos as well to find answers. So you've been trying and you've really put in the effort, but studying and you just never comes together, never seems to click. So now you feel burnt out. If this sounds a little too much like you, then I want you to treat this video as a detox, as something to push you in the right direction, because sometimes a small nudge is all we need. So let's first take a look at the poison that is causing the majority of your troubles. When I first started working out, I was the victim of the shiny object syndrome. For those of you who don't know, shiny object syndrome is the never-ending cycle you fall into when you try to find the best solution online. So back then, I would see people doing all kinds of weird exercises and they're all ripped, and I wanted to be muscular like them too. So days after days, I would try out all of the workouts I saw. I would try to find new exercises that no one has heard of that could be the secret formula to finally getting ripped, but obviously no such thing exists. I remember I spent months in this cycle before finally feeling burnt out and giving up. So why am I telling you this? If this video popped up in your recommendations, then chances are you watch other study videos too. Sure, watching some is fine because you're trying to improve yourself. But if you watch too much, you can see where I'm going here. If you watch too many study videos, you can fall into the trap of finding the perfect study hack, the perfect study tip, the perfect solution that will finally create your academic comeback. And how do you know if you're in this situation or not? First of all, you may find yourself saving these study videos so you can try out their study tricks later. Secondly, you feel like you're doing something good and you feel like you're making progress as you're watching these videos. Because deep down, you think that you don't have enough knowledge, you don't know how to study effectively. So the more study videos you watch, the more knowledge you are gaining, and thus you feel progress. If these symptoms sounds familiar to you, then just like my workout story, this leads to nothing but burnout. But before I continue, please consider subscribing because we're trying to reach 4,000 subscribers as fast as we can. So, stick to the basics. They're all you need. And what are the basics? I'm sure you already know this and you've heard it a million times before, but they just don't sound as unique and fancy. But the basics are learning from your mistakes, doing past paper questions, doing topic questions, active recall. It's really not that complicated, and trust me, you already know all of this. So do me a favor and just throw away the shiny object mindset. Oftentimes, we fantasize about being a better version of ourselves in the future. For example, you might say things like, when I get to year X, that's when I will lock in and get good grades. Or when I get to that level, that's when I will start taking things seriously, as if the future you would be a completely different person. Now I want you to think about what you do in your boring, ordinary, typical day. What are your day-to-day activities like? Well, you wake up, you brush, you shower, you eat, then you go to work and you come back and you eat and then you sleep. Now you have to realize that the future version of yourselves will be doing the exact same things. The future you will have to wake up, brush, shower, eat, go to work, and so on. So it's really not as different as you think. In fact, it is almost the exact same thing. So if you think about it, every day is just today, repeated over and over again. Tomorrow is gonna be just like today. You will have to do the exact same mundane things. Imagine you're trying to lose fat. You fantasize about being thin and doing all sorts of cool activities in the future, and you fantasize about your future life being totally different. But the thing is, your house is filled with food. There's food in the fridge, there's snacks in your table, in your desk. There is food everywhere. And since every day is just today repeated, tomorrow you're still going to be surrounded by food. The day after that, you will still be surrounded by food. So every day is just today repeated and you make no progress. So if you're still fantasizing getting good grades in the future, but you feel like you're making no progress, then look at what you do day to day. There is definitely something you are doing that is actively working against your goals. Are you consuming brain rot all day? Are you actively worsening your attention span? Are you procrastinating studying until it's nighttime and then you go sleep because you're too tired? Are you watching 100 study videos without actually doing a thing? Your future self needs you to stop doing these things. Your future self needs you to do something today. So if you really want to change your future, then change what you do today. A phrase that I like to think about is, I can tell exactly who you are and exactly what grades you get just by looking at what you do today. So your life is already decided based on what you do today. If you're serious about this, change what you do today instead of fantasizing change in the future. I want you to realize that you are okay. This may sound very simple, but it is an incredibly effective way of detoxing your brain and resetting it. So close all social media, take a deep breath, and realize that you're okay. Everyone is all facing their own struggles. No one has it figured out. 100% of people have problems in their lives and they are actively worrying about it. So worrying is just part of life. You are just one human in a world of 8 billion humans, and everyone has their own problems. So just take a step back and realize that you're okay. Once you are able to grasp this feeling, your mind will be incredibly clear. So use this time to think about your problem. When you take a step back and come back to the problem, you will know what to do. 99% of the time, you don't need a random dude's advice because you know yourself best. You already know what to do. People underestimate how smart they are, including yourself, so you're much smarter than you think. If you have watched this until the very end, thank you very much, and I hope that you're feeling just a little bit better. I also hope that your next steps are a bit more clear now.